Hi friends, yesterday I created a video about the first chapter of my book, Deconstructing Sexual Shame. First chapter was called Girl Meets Boys and Sex. The second chapter, which I would like to talk about today, is called Sexual Trauma. And if you don't want to hear about sexual trauma, this video may not be for you. So, trigger warning. So when I was a kid and a teenager, I was very much afraid of being raped. And eventually, at the age of 18 or 19, I became depressed for various reasons. I was burning out on, I was worship leading from the piano in my church, mostly playing the piano, but also singing. And I was burnt out on that. I started when I was 14. I was, 17 going on 18 when I was like, I don't think I can do this anymore. I think I was doing it every Sunday or maybe every second Sunday and just feeling tired. So anyway, I went to Bible college after I finished high school, and I was feeling very depressed, feeling like I'm a perfectionist but everything I do is wrong. You know that feeling where you're like working so hard for God, trying to do everything right, trying to be this perfect person, holy, righteous, doing all the right things, abstaining from sex, abstaining from drugs, abstaining from all the things, and but never feeling good enough, never feeling worthy, because no matter how hard you try, you know that you're actually not perfect. You know that you swear in your head. You know that you hate people in your head. You know that you ignored the homeless person on the street. You know that all the things that you do, like, that are kind of selfish or not focused on other people, you just feel continuous guilt and shame. So my compounded guilt and shame was building up over all the years of my childhood and teenage years. And by the time I got to 18 and went to Bible college, I was clinically depressed. I was studying to become a counselor, a Christian counselor, and I realized that the truth was that I actually needed counseling, therapy, help, because I was getting close to suicidal ideation. And I went and saw a Christian counselor at my Bible college, and I told her about all the guilt and the shame. I gave her like a list of 100 things I feel guilty for. And she said, "You present as someone who has been sexually assaulted, because this level of guilt and shame is common amongst sexual abuse victims." And I said, I have no memory of ever being sexually abused. And I started to, but I'm saying this very calmly to you right now, but I was like, what the hell? What are you talking about? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Freaking out, going, is it true? I don't remember. God help me. Like, what the heck is going on here? And I actually, so I saw two counselors, and it's all very blurry who I saw when, but one of them had to go have surgery, so she quit seeing me, and one of them, she invited me to express my anger. And when I did, I screamed at the top of my lungs. She thought I was demon possessed, of course, because of course that's what you think when someone screams at the top of their lungs when you invite them to express anger. And I wasn't like, I didn't run across the room and scream in her face. I was still sitting across the room. I just screamed at the top of my lungs. So what? Like, I'm a human being. Anyway, she did not cope well with that. She wanted to pray the demons away. And I don't remember if she did or she didn't, but I just remember thinking, I'm not demon possessed. Like, I just I mean, I probably had some moments where I was like, maybe I am demon possessed, like freaking out about that too. But it just, nothing manifested. I'm going, anger is not the same as, I don't know, I just didn't see it as the same thing. I didn't feel like anything took over my body. There was none. I'm just like, whatever. So then I quit seeing that therapist or that Christian counselor. And I went and I saw a therapist who actually I did meet at Bible college, but she had more qualifications. So I went and saw her and I told her those things that I've just told you, like I'm depressed, I'm afraid of being raped, I feel guilty about everything that I do. And my previous counselors, they thought that I was probably sexually assaulted. What do you think? And she said, well, would you feel relieved if you found out that you were sexually assaulted? And I was like, yes, I absolutely would. Do you know why? Because it would give me a reason and something to heal from that has caused so much shame and depression for me. Like I was looking for a reason for sure. Anyway, she prayed with me that God would shine God's light on this situation. And I had something of a vision of being sexually assaulted when I was very, very, very young, to less than 3 years old. And it was a very detached, it didn't feel like me. It felt like I was looking at a photo of it happening. And what felt real was that I had very much dissociated and that I became very disconnected from myself, or I felt like I split into 3 people when I was a toddler, potentially, and kind of adapted into these three personas, 3 personalities almost, over time. And so we spent a lot of time working through what is now called internal family systems. Those, when you kind of have these multiple personalities, but I was not diagnosed with multiple personality disorder. It's more of an internal family systems. I don't dissociate on any regular basis. I don't block anything out. I remember the minutes of my day. It's more of a, sometimes I rely more heavily on the side of me that is more angry. Sometimes I rely more heavily on the side of me that feels more shame. And sometimes I rely on the side of me that is more creative and happy and well-adjusted. So there are kind of like three things happening there, 3 main personalities, if you will. So that is what I get into in the 2nd chapter of my book. That is kind of like laying the foundation for why I talk about L1, L2, and Ed, my 3 personas, if you will, and how healing from sexual trauma is all about healing these, trying to integrate Ed, L1, and L2 for me. And I will never have 100% proof that I was sexually assaulted, but I definitely present with all the symptoms and results and everything, like that. I just very much come across as someone who has been sexually traumatized, and I do believe that I am I have been sexually traumatized. I just can't exactly pinpoint all of the details. I do write a very detailed story in the book about what I think happened. And I've seen a hypnotherapist just this year to try and uncover, like, do you think this is a memory? Is this real? And honestly, going to hypnotherapy just caused the exact same response that I had in counseling 20 years ago, therapy 20 years ago, which was that I very, very, very much dissociated and very much split, or felt like I took on 3 personas as a young child. That's what feels most real. And I believe that it's probably as a result of sexual trauma. That's what feels true. So soon I will keep going through the chapters of my book. That was chapter 2. I hope that I haven't triggered you too much and that you can appreciate me sharing my story.